RuneScape is a game about getting lucky, and using that luck to your advantage to unlock new content. So what if I took luck completely out of the equation by eliminating all my possible good luck, leaving only the bad? Meet my never lucky Ironman, forks only, because this account is not getting spooned. This account will not be able to keep or use any drop that is received before the drop rate. Later, once I get further along, I'll periodically take all the drops I have to get rid of and give them out to my viewers and subs. My goal with this account is to complete the Inferno, and I'm not going to stop there. This is my story. Please subscribe to my only forks. I mean forks only. What is up, gamers? FCast and Chill here. So right now I'm just plowing the fields in Hosidius because I'm trying to get my Hosidius favor up. Eventually I'm going to get 100% favor here so I can do the tithe farm, but we're not going to talk about that today. That's going to be for later. So this episode is going to focus on getting the Iben staff. I mentioned before that Iben staff is just completely overpowered for low level accounts. And it's because it can hit 25s even when you just have 50 magic, which is pretty ridiculous for an account with this crappy of gear and this early on. And so it's going to be extremely useful for lots of PVM stuff. Specifically barrows is what I have in mind. It's going to be great at just bursting down most of those barrows brothers. So we're going to work on getting Iben staff. So first, I'm going to have to get through a lot of prereqs before doing the quest required for Iben staff, which is the Underground Pass. This is a very dangerous quest and also very long. It has a lot of meticulous parts where you have to do a lot of agility stuff and go over a big room with a massive pit at the bottom. There's also some little puzzles and traps everywhere and some enemies that we have to fight. So I want to prepare for this to make sure I don't die. Now that I have Fossil Island unlocked, I can just AFK crabs there while I'm working and just doing my job. So it's actually just wonderful for getting up some of the early combat stats. As you can see here, I got 25 defense, there's 30 defense, 35, 40 defense, and 45 defense, and there's 50. I also got my attack up to 50 and then 55. I also got my strength up to 45, and then my hit points, you can see there's 40 and 50 hit points. So that was just a ton of levels at crabs there, which was very AFK. Also, I killed so many crabs that I did get to the drop rate for their easy clue scrolls that they drop, and so I got my first easy clue that I can do. So let's actually go ahead and knock that out and get this casket and see what we get. The problem with clues is each of the uniques is extremely rare, even though, there's so many uniques, so you're pretty likely to get any unique from a clue scroll, but any specific unique has a very low drop rate or a very low chance. And so I'm not going to be able to keep any of the uniques from clues until I get my clue count very high. So let's go ahead and get our first casket and start getting that clue count up. So let's just go through here, and there we go, got my casket. Let's open it up, and okay, well, we got some runes, and I have to drop all those because, again, I have a kill count of 1, and those are not guaranteed drops. So yeah, those are going on the ground. But all right, now that we got that clue out of the way, let's move on and get some of the other prereqs out of the way for Underground Pass. Next, I'm gonna just knock out a bunch of quests here. So one thing that I talked about before that I don't quite have yet is I wanted to get my herb lore up to 34 because I need to make an agility potion for the Tai Bo One-Eye Trio quest, and you need 34 herb lore to make an agility potion. I'm actually only going to get to 30 because there are some pies that you can get that boost your herb lore by 4, and I can just use those to make the potion once I get to 30 herb lore. But let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to knock out some quests. So here I'm doing jungle potion, that gives me a little bit of herb lore XP. I had to do the Black Knight's Fortress because it's the prereq for the recruitment drive quest, which gives more herb lore XP. And then I did the Shades of Morton quest, which gives even more herb lore XP. Also, I wanted to get my farming up just a little bit before I start doing herb runs. So I did the Garden of Death quest. This quest is actually huge for an account like mine early on. I'm really glad they added it because 10,000 farming XP is massive this early in the game. Then I did the Creature of Frankenstring quest because that was a prereq for the Garden of Tranquility, and that gave me some more farming XP. So now that I got all that XP for Herblore farming out of the way, let's go ahead and go into some herb runs. And these are actually pretty painful because I don't have very many teleports yet, and I'm just planting Guam seeds, but you know, you got to start somewhere, right? I also got some ultra compost from mining the ash at Fossil Island. But yeah, let's go and do this herb run and just plant all my Guam, and I'll just keep that going, and we'll get some herb lore levels later. All right, and there we go. That is 30 herb lore. So with that, now I can use the boost from the pies that you can get to get my herb lore to 34 and make my agility potion. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I need these toad legs along with the toad flax herb to make the agility potion. Also note that I did get the toad flax from thieving master farmers. I'll talk about that in my next episode in a little more detail because I don't want to focus too much on farming. But yeah, let's go ahead and make this potion. And I just looked up and realized that you actually need a 4-dose potion, so I need to make another one. But that's okay. And with that, I completed the Taibo One-Eye Trio quest. And now that should allow me to fish for carambwams and cook them. So that's just excellent. Now, I mentioned before that they're one of the best foods in the game, and I already have access to them. And I'm going to be using those for Underground Pass, so that's going to be wonderful. And then I'm going to knock out a few more quests. One other requirement for the Underground Pass is that you have to have a range level of 25. And my range level is currently 1 because I haven't touched it at all. So I'm going to do a few quests to get that up. So let's go ahead and knock out some other miscellaneous quests as well. So here I'm doing Depths of the Despair. It gives me a little Hosidius favor, which will be useful for the Tithe Farm later. I'm going to do Tower of Life as well. It gives me some construction XP that's pretty good early on. And then here I completed Witch's House since it's a prereq to some later quests and gives me a little bit of HP XP as well. And then I'm also doing a Poor Sign of Interest as well as Ernest the Chicken, because that will get my Slayer level up and do one of the prereqs for Animal Magnetism, which is really useful for Ava's devices that I'm going to want for training range later. And then I also knocked out Merlin's Crystal as well as the Holy Grail quest, because these give a lot of prayer XP as well as defense XP. And I'm not going to complain about having more of both of those. All right, and then now I'm going to do the Golem, which is a prerequisite for the Shadow of the Storm. And the Shadow of the Storm quest was a bit challenging with my stats, but I was just flinching the final boss, similar to how I did with the Tanglefoot in the last episode. And this is great because it gives me 10,000 ranged XP. So you can see that immediately shot me from 1 up to 27. Then next, I'm going to knock out the Lost Tribe, and then also Death to the Dorgashun. These will give me a little bit more ranged XP, and then I also have access to the Ring of Life, which will teleport me back to Lumbridge right before I die in some situations if my health gets too low. I can still get hit down and die immediately if I take a big hit, but if I'm taking smaller hits, it'll teleport me back. And then another good thing about this Death to the Dorgashun and Lost Tribe quests is it unlocks the Bone Crossbow, which is really useful for early range training. Later I'm definitely going to be AFKing at crabs using that. So I'm excited about that. And now that I've completed all these prereqs and quests and requirements, I'm finally ready to tackle the Underground Pass. So let's do that. All right, let's get into it. So we have to go through this massive underground tunnel, as I mentioned before, with a lot of traps everywhere and very dangerous things. So let's go ahead and get started. You can see here I brought an inventory full of some of the things I need, as well as carambwams, which will be really useful for healing as we get into it. And then I brought some runes for casting magic, because I'm going to safe spot one of the enemies I have to fight later. And then here I'm actually dipping my arrow in the flame and using it to shoot down that bridge, which is why I had to get my ranged level up. So let's go ahead and do that. Unfortunately, I had to drop a couple of my Karen bombs because I had to make room for the cloth and the arrows, the flaming arrows, and I didn't realize once you cross the bridge, you can't go back across. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. Those are easy enough to fish for, so I could always get more. Then let's just keep heading through. There's lots of little traps here, but we're not going to worry too much about those. So I think I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a bit because some of this early stuff isn't too interesting. All right, and now we've come to this puzzle. And so there is one path across these tiles, and if you select the wrong one, then you end up falling and taking about 15 damage. So let's just hope we get the right path, or this could eat up my food very quickly. And let's try this first one. Ow. Okay, no, that wasn't it. Let's go for this one over here. I don't know why I'm not just trying the next one, but it's fine. Let's see how it goes. And ow again. Okay, not going too well. What about this? Ugh. Okay, well, maybe fourth time's the charm, and yes, okay. Now let's keep walking forward and then try the side. Going well so far. Okay, let's keep going, and oh, okay, fell again. Man, this is really eating into my food, but it's okay, right? Like, once I get the path down, if I have to, I could always leave the underground pass and come back knowing what the correct path is. So hopefully I don't have to do that, but let's see. Let's just keep trying. And then we're gonna go across, and there we go. I got pretty lucky, so that time I got the path down. And I'm actually going to take note of this path because I have to go back through the underground pass in the future for the quest Regicide. So I need to make sure I remember how I did that. Now, next I'm gonna need to go through these wall traps here, and they can hit you pretty hard if you try to disarm them and fail, so I'm just gonna run through. But that still hits pretty hard too. So I'm probably just going to hang out here with my rapid heal on and use this prayer altar to restore my health. So I'll be back in a little bit, but yeah, I'm going to use that. All right, well, now I have to collect these orbs to go down the well and then bring them back to that furnace and destroy them. Shouldn't be too bad. Again, after coming back with the orbs, my health got pretty low, so I'm going to wait again on rapid heal and just hang out for me to heal up a bit. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and then now I've gotten through that section, and now I'm onto this part with the long maze over the spikes. Actually, I didn't show it, but I already trained my thieving up to level 50. Again, I'm going to talk about that in the next episode when I get into some of the farming stuff. But the reason I got level 50 thieving is it actually gives you a shortcut, so I can just come down here below that path and then just unlock this door and walk straight through. So that's really helpful since that place can be pretty scary. So cool. All right, let's just keep moving along. And next we're going to have to go through this pipe and kill a unicorn, which, you know, always a fun thing to do. But yep. All right, and the unicorn is dead. Grab its horn and just keep moving on. Next, I'm going to have to kill these paladins after I get some food from them. It's really nice of me to offer, you know, to take their free food. And I even get half a prayer potion from one, so that's kind of nice. But then right after that, I'm going to have to kill them. And fortunately, you can just kite them because they won't run out of a certain range. So you can see here, I'm just using my staff and runes that I brought to cast fire spells on them and get their emblems. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to drop some food to hold on to all these emblems. But yeah, I need all three of the emblems and the unicorn horn. So let's just finish off these paladins, and now let's move on to the next part. So I have to sacrifice the unicorn horn and all those emblems into the well over here. And then now we can get to the massive empty room with a pit under it, which is the fun part. So this room is enormous, probably the biggest area in all of RuneScape. And if you fail one of the agility obstacles, then you'll go tumbling down to the bottom and it'll take forever for you to get back up. Luckily, I did train my agility already to the mid 60s on this account, so hopefully I won't fail. But let's just see how it goes. Alright, and now I'm getting to one of the most dangerous parts of this quest. I have to kill one of these big spiders to soak the doll that I have in blood before throwing it into the well to kill Iban. So let's go do that. I really probably should have waited to do this quest until I had overhead protection prayers, but yeah, whatever. I don't want to wait for that, so let's go do this. So you can actually safe spot this guy in between these skeletons here, and it looks like the little spiders won't attack me either, so this is actually a lot easier than I was expecting. Honestly, I'm kind of underwhelmed by this quest so far, difficulty-wise. I was expecting to get, kind of beaten up a little more, but that guy's dead now, and I can just run out of here, so not too bad at all. The next thing I need to do is kill these 3 demons over here, and then take the amulet, and luckily, I can just safe spot them if I just hang out here on the bridge, so again, this is pretty easy, just gonna hang out here and cast magic. It's kind of silly how overpowered magic is in the early game, but, I'm not complaining, so let's just knock these guys out. And there we go. Let's keep moving on. Alright, and now I'm going to kill one of these Zamorak monks to get their robes, and then I can enter the temple, and all I need to do is drop this doll in the well, and then I'll be done. So this part can be kind of dangerous too, because Iban will shoot lightning blasts at you, and there's just a bunch of stuff going on that can knock you back. But if you actually time it right, and just click on the well and use the doll on it during the dialogue, you can run to it before he even starts attacking. So let's try to do that here. And there we go. And let's see. Oh, and yeah, I made it. He didn't even get an attack off, which is super nice. And would you look at that? I have Iban's staff now. Oh, that looks so good. I'm really excited to use this thing. It's just going to be so strong and do so much damage. So I guess I'm gonna go use it right now and try it out on some things. The first place I'm gonna take it is to the blue dragons in Taverley, because there's actually a safe spot where you can blast them, and it will let me collect some dragon bones pretty easily, and I can use those to train prayer. So I'm gonna go there, and oh, you can see it's just shredding them. Like, I'm getting these dragon bones so quickly. And yep, there's a 25. That just looks so amazing to see that. But yeah, this is just wonderful. The one problem is the staff is really expensive to use. I do need to go get some money to upgrade it so that it will last longer and have a lot more charges. But yeah, this is just wonderful. It's huge for the account. So that's another item off my checklist, and this is starting to look like I'm getting closer and closer to finishing. So let's go ahead and wrap this up, and then next episode I'll have some very interesting things to talk about. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll get into it with the next episode soon. Enjoy the holidays. All right, bye everyone.